Hello my dears, this is Sarah from sheholdsdearly.com. Today I want to share with you a tutorial on how to make linen covered books that have birds on them for your spring decorating. And before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to my friend Jamie over at Board or Bananas. She is heading up a YouTube collaboration, and I will give you a link in the description. There is a whole list of us that are taking part in this theme today, and we are talking about making a look for less. Okay, so I think you'll have fun checking out what everyone else has made. I am going to be making a set of books that I have been eyeing on Etsy. When I first saw them, I loved the linen look and all the books lined up together, and then how the books created this one picture once they were all put together. But I was a little overwhelmed by the price tag, which was $112. So I am going to attempt to make my own today. I don't actually keep a lot of books. I follow the KonMori method when I declutter my house, and books is not something that I want just collecting dust on my shelves. So I only have a few books, and the rest are old vintage ones that I just use for decorations. So I actually didn't have a set of similar sized books, but that is something that you would need, are some similar sized books. I just went ahead and I got 4 of these cardboard books, and I hope they look believable when I'm all done with them. But these were $7 each on Amazon, and you can store things in them if you so desire. Then I had some old linen from my slipcovers, if you remember my slipcovers that I made for my Parsons chairs. I am told this is the best paper for transferring. So we're gonna print an image. I found a bird image online. There's a company called French Kiss Collections, and they have beautiful Victorian images that you can purchase. So I paid, I believe, $7 for a whole bunch of really beautiful bird images, which I will share with you. And we're gonna print it on this paper. I'm told this is the best of the best. It's called Transfer Magic, and you can find this on Amazon. It was $8.69. So let's do the math. How much is this project costing me? I also am going to use decoupage to put the fabric on. And if you already had you can find a free bird image. I would check the Graphics Fairy is the one I really like to check if I need an image. And then if you already have a set of books and you have your fabric, potentially this could be free. So I'm probably on the higher end of the look for less. All right, let's get started. Once I printed out my copies, I then cut around the edge about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch all the way around the image. I had to do that on each page. And then I suggest keeping it a full page printout on hand, just on a piece of paper, because you're going to lay that on top of your books and get an idea of what each book is going to look like on the spine. So I kept referring back to my just plain piece of paper printout that I had. And I worked just one book at a time, which would be the spine that showed the eye of the bird. And so I got that lined up first. Each portion of the image that needed to show up needed to be centered for each particular book. So be careful as you do that. And then I did cut my fabric extra large, so I had a lot of wiggle room around the edges. So once you have your first book figured out where you're gonna lay your image down, you're gonna need to iron it on. And this is the tricky part. So you have to follow these directions very carefully. You want to iron on a hard surface. So a stone surface is great. Do not iron on anything that is painted. That will melt down the paint or stain or whatever is on there. I know because I've done that. Okay, so once you get your hard surface, then you need to have your iron, no steam, turn it up. I like it as hot as I can get it, which is the linen setting. And then I stand over my image. So you put the image face down on your fabric. I actually stand on a chair and use my body weight for this part. So I get up on the chair and I iron it, and you wanna keep the iron moving just a little bit, and you're gonna go, for an image this big, you're gonna wanna go like 3 minutes. 2 minutes minimum, and then up to 3 minutes. Just keep moving that hot iron around, and you're melting this image onto the fabric. Then it needs to cool completely, and then you get to do the fun part, which is to peel it off. And to get it started, I kind of like bent down the fabric a little bit to make the backing pop up with the transfer paper. Okay, and then the last part, once you get each of your sheets ready, the last part is to decoupage it onto your book. So I just started with the spine, and you just take your sponge brush, add some decoupage or Mod Podge onto that spine. Put your first picture down. So again, I started with the bird eye, that portion of the bird. I put that down. Just start with their spine. Then once you get that lined up the way you want it, then do the front and the back cover, smooth it out, and then for the edges, super easy, just trim like a 1/2 inch all the way around and put some glue around those edges of the book. Fold your fabric in. For the corners, go ahead and fold them together so that they come up in a little point, and just snip that point off, and then it's done. Now, if you're using real books, I have read that you want to just hot glue. So you would want more than a 1/2 inch around the edge. You would want more like 2 inches, and then fold them in and hot glue them in place. All right, so that's it. That's my look for less. $112, dropped it down. And I even think you could get away with doing this for free. So have fun. Tag me on Instagram if you do this project. And thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I do post regularly, and I share my DIY design advice and our vintage farm life. And before you head out, grab the password to get into my subscriber library for more fun projects like this, and I'll catch you next time.